all around the world.
Yeah,
Come on.
attention, this my boarding call. Bags up there again.
Hey everyone, my name is Daniel. I am starting this new travel blog because I've been traveling all my life. I've been 21 different countries and all 50 states. I've worked in every industry of travel, and it's literally my passion to travel. So I bought the Frontiers All You Can Fly Go Wild Pass, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit about my travel. Everything from getting to the airport, from check-in to dealing with any kind of experiences, cancellations, things like that. I want to show you what's going on. I want to tell you my stories. The thing is I meet people in the airport all the time. They're like, hey, Daniel, you should start a travel blog. And I'm like, well, that's not a bad idea. Let's see what we can do. So we're going to start with this video. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how my last trip went. So I went ahead and booked with Frontier. I live in Columbus, so I'm not able to leave out of Columbus. It's not very easy to find flights from Columbus on Frontier. It's a lot easier to find flights from Cleveland or Cincinnati, which is where I found my last flight. So I used to live in Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. Hadn't done any of the touristy stuff really in Philadelphia. So I decided to go to Philadelphia. And when I went there, I also wanted to check out Hell's Kitchen. So I went to Atlantic City. Let me tell you how I did this. So I went ahead and drove from Columbus, Ohio to Cleveland. Well, on my way, I don't know if you know it or not, but there's a amazing, really cool historic thing that you can look at. It's the Shawshank Redemption Prison, the Ohio Reformatory. And it has a lot of history. It has a lot of hardened criminals that were there. There were a lot of murders, suicides, things like that. So it's known to be haunted. And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into because, I've never been to a place like that. I've been to Alcatraz, but I didn't really feel scared or anything in there. So I went to the Ohio Reformatory, and you'll see some photos and videos here about that. And at the Ohio Reformatory, when you walk in to do a tour, you can do either a guided tour, or you can do a self-guided tour, or you can do it with audio actually too. And I just decided to do it without audio by myself. And as soon as I walked into the place, right, then the corridors are kind of dark and kind of creepy. And so I was like, okay, I'm a little trapped now. And it was a little scary. So when I entered the Ohio Reformatory and did my tour, $25 to get the tour. It is another $5 if you want to add the audio. I decided to opt out for the audio because I figured, well, I could probably read the signs and stuff. But anyway, you walk in and think dark, scary corridor. As soon as I got in there, I'm looking around and I'm I gotta go through there? It's just definitely quiet, right? Definitely quiet. And your body is kind of reacting to what's going on. Well, anyway, you go through the corridor and you get to see the administrative offices, and then they take you into the cell block. So the cell block, if you've never been in a prison before, there's bars on this side and you got your cells on this side, right? So you're literally walking through a tiny corridor, maybe 3 feet across possibly, and you're staring down and all you see is cells and bars. You're trapped. I mean, you can't go anywhere. So you got to go through that corridor. And I'll tell you right now, that corridor is creepy. It's creepy. If you like creepy and scary things, go check it out. You'll love it. So anyway, I did that, and then went ahead and drove to Cleveland, and I decided to use the park and fly. So I don't know if you know it or not, but some hotels in larger cities, they have an option to, you don't have to stay at the hotel. You actually can use an app to go ahead and park, and you pay somewhere between $4 and $9 a day, something like that. I think I paid $6 a day. And you park your car, and they have a shuttle to the airport. They take you to the airport, and you're good to go. Well, this was at the Wyndham in Cleveland. It doesn't look great from the outside. I'm not going to lie to you. But once you get inside of the hotel, it's beautiful. The staff are really wonderful. There's water for the guests. The bathrooms are really clean, etc., etc. It's a great little hotel. I would probably stay there if I was going to need a place to stay in Cleveland, near the airport at least. And so I took the shuttle. Shuttle got me there. Everything was good. Cleveland Airport is actually really nice. It's pretty beautiful. Looks like they're doing some renovations, so you enter through the back way for the shuttles. But there's some photos there of Cleveland you'll see here in a second. And got on my flight, right? No problems whatsoever. Frontier's on time. No issues with the bags. I mean, they made me check the size of my backpack. It's fine. Whatever. It fit. No problems. Everything's working. Bathrooms are clean, etc. So, great experience. I got to Philadelphia. And, well, you know, most of the time I stay in hotels. But I am a person that likes to go outside the box and try something new. So, I stayed in a hostel once before in Hawaii. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't great. I decided to go ahead and stay in a hostel again. And this is the Apple Hostels in Philadelphia. And it's in a great location. It's a fantastic location. The people are super nice. The amenities are amazing. But I mean, you're staying in a room with 9 other guys. So if you don't like that much closeness, hostel might not be the best choice for you. But it's not very expensive. What I loved about the Apple Hostel is that by the beds, like, not just that, okay, so they're bunk beds, first of all. So next time I go, I'm going to try to request the bottom bunk because the top bunk, I mean, look at me, I'm not a small guy. So it's a little harder to climb up on top of a bunk and then try to get down in the middle, use the bathroom, et cetera, right? So I went ahead and, you know, did this hostel. And the problem is that, well, when you have 9 guys in one room or 10 guys in one room, the chances of snoring, the chances of smells, things like that are pretty high, right? So unfortunately, the first night I was above. I was on top bunk because I arrived really late. I was above this guy who just kept snoring like a bear. I mean, it sounded like this. It was like, I mean, it was bad. Like, I mean, it was bad. I had headphones in. I could still hear him. And, you know, it smelled a little bit like feet too, to be completely honest. So, you know, a locker room scenario with bunk beds. Think that for a hostel. However, here's the thing. This particular hostel, they've thought of everything. Like, above your bed, you got a ledge where you can put your phone, you can put your water, you can, if you have glasses, you can put your glasses, right? They have a really comfy blanket. The bathroom has towels, and it has washcloths, and it has soap. And, you know, there's power outlets above each bed, right? So all of that is thought of, and it's fantastic. They have a pool table on the other side. It's kind of split into 2 sides, so east and west. I was on the west side. There's a sitting room, a dartboard, those kind of things on the west side. And on the east side, you've got the pool table, you've got a full kitchen, you've got your water, you've got a lounging area, board games. I mean, everything you could possibly want to stay engaged, essentially. They've also got a list of the best places to go and things like that. Staff are really great. So my stay at Apple Hostel, Philadelphia, was incredible. It was great. They moved me to a bottom bunk the next night and took care of me, so it was totally okay. While I was there, of course, my first day, I wanted to go to Atlantic City. So just to let you know how easy that is, you just go to the 30th Street Philadelphia Amtrak station. You get a ticket on New Jersey Transit to Atlantic City. It's that simple. You can come back same day too if you want. The thing you need to know is if you purchase with Amtrak, New Jersey Transit is not Amtrak. So I didn't know that. I purchased an electronic ticket online. I think it was through Wanderoo. And it was supposed to be for Amtrak. However, when I got on the train, I told the lady at the Amtrak station that I had an electronic ticket, but she was just like, hey, you can go catch your train anytime you want. Didn't give me any paper tickets or anything. Well, they're supposed to give you paper tickets because the electronic ticket for Amtrak doesn't work on New Jersey Transit. So when they scan it, it just says invalid. So the conductor told me that I was going to have to go ahead and purchase my own ticket on New Jersey Transit and then have Amtrak refund it. So just a little tip. If you're going to go to Atlantic City, New Jersey by Amtrak from Philadelphia, make sure you purchase a ticket on New Jersey Transit or the app. When I got to Atlantic City, I was pleasantly surprised by shuttles. Plenty of shuttles. There's like all out there lined up, and they all have different casinos, hotels that they're going to, right? I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I wanted to go to the boardwalk. So I got on the Caesar one, took to Caesars. Boom, I was at the boardwalk. The boardwalk is amazing. It's very long. You want to get some exercise, just walk that thing a couple times. You'll be good for the day. I clocked in 40,000 steps that day. Pretty insane. So I checked out all the casinos there. Caesars. I checked out Tropicana. I checked out Resorts. A couple other ones, right? They have a little trolley that runs up and down the boardwalk because it is so long. It's $9 unlimited or $4 each way. It's well worth it if you start at the end, like near the Ferris wheel, and you go all the way down past Tropicana. That would be really good to have, that unlimited ability. And Caesars is kind of right in the middle. So if you're going to Hell's Kitchen, which I'll talk about here in a second, that's a good way to do it. Now, one of the crazy little funny stories is I kept trying to take a photo of Welcome to Atlantic City. They have these boards that just keep changing advertisements, essentially. I didn't know they were changing advertisements until I tried to take a photo the first time. And I was like, okay, let me take a photo. And nope, it changed on me. So I went and tried to do it again. Nope, it changed on me. So I just couldn't get the timing right, unfortunately. But I wanted to take a photo of Welcome to Atlantic City. The boardwalk is really beautiful. A lot of people say New Jersey's boardwalk is, you know, kind of trashy, but I actually thought it was really cute. I'll probably be back in Atlantic City pretty quickly. It was a nice place to be. People seemed to be really nice, and I had a good time. Now, you got your classic boardwalk people that, you know, the biker that's running back and forth singing really loud, or you've got the lady who's just randomly singing, sitting on the bench. Lots of different things, right? So that's just common boardwalk, big city type stuff, right? So on my way back, because first of all, I decided to stop at Hell's Kitchen, right? I had a reservation for Hell's Kitchen. Let me tell you this right now. I don't know what you've eaten in your life or what you think is the best thing you've ever put in your mouth, but if you have never tried sticky toffee pudding at Hell's Kitchen, you are missing out. Holy cow. That stuff just like, I took one bite and I was like, you talk about the dopamine rushing in your brain? Man, this stuff is insane. It is off the chain. I had the signature menu, which included the tomato, what is it? Burchetta, some sort of cheese. It was a salad. And it was actually really good too. The heirloom tomatoes, whew, man, so good. Then we had the beef Wellington, delicious. And I ordered the mac and cheese, and that was pretty good. Here's the problem with the mac and cheese. So, I don't know if you're familiar with Hell's Kitchen, the show, but a lot of times the teams are sent back because something's undercooked or overcooked or whatever. Well, in this case, I kind of felt like I was on the show. My mac and cheese came out crispy on top, but it was kind of cold or lukewarm underneath. And so I did let them know that. They immediately took it back. The chef tried it. She agreed. They took it off my bill and called it a day. But, you know, I didn't love the flavor of the mac and cheese, but it doesn't matter. The freaking sticky toffee pudding, you could have given me garbage the entire meal. And if you had given me that at the end, I would have thought that restaurant was a 12-star restaurant. It was amazing. It's just so good. The silverware is gold, which is pretty cool. And every part of the restaurant is kind of accented with Hell's Kitchen. So you've got the red versus the blue. You've got the trident kind of all over the place. Things like that. The manager of this particular location is Amanda. She is amazing. But Amanda is amazing. She's the manager. I talked to her for a brief moment. She told me that sticky toffee pudding is made out of dates, which is pretty wild. So don't let it scare you away if you don't like dates, because it's really, really good. So, and by the way, I intend to go at every single Hell's Kitchen and have sticky toffee pudding every single chance I get. So if a couple of the videos, 10 videos down the line, I'm like this, like 500 pounds, then, you'll know why. But I live life for today, not tomorrow. And that's my motto. So, I've done so many things because of that. just kind of give you a little background on me. I have won the showcase on The Price is Right. I have been on Let's Make a Deal. And Wayne Brady told me he wished there were more people like me that had such a love for life. Well, that's me in a nutshell. Typically, I won't do anything I don't want to do because life is too short. You just don't know if you have tomorrow. And that's just how I live my life. So no apologies, no regrets, just move forward. So I left Atlantic City by train, had the same situation on the train with the Amtrak ticket, had to buy New Jersey Transit ticket, got to Amtrak. Well, as travel goes, it's never completely like perfect, right? All right, so when I arrived in Philadelphia back to the 30th Street station, of course I needed to go to Amtrak and get my refund. The conductor had made it very clear that this was going to be so easy and they're so used to doing this. And I told him, I was like, sounds like it's a process improvement thing that needs to be probably, fixed. And so when I got there, this lovely African-American lady, she came up and she's like, how can I help you? And I said, well, I just need a refund. Here is my receipt for my New Jersey Transit purchase. I purchased an Amtrak ticket and they don't take Amtrak on New Jersey Transit. Well, she looks at me silly and she says, oh, yeah. So you just have to contact New Jersey Transit for a refund. I'm like, no. I took a New Jersey Transit train. The conductor told me to get my refund from Amtrak. That's why I'm here. Oh, here's a pamphlet. Contact New Jersey Transit. Really, lady? Really? I'm like, well, the conductor said that it was going to be really simple and really easy to get my refund. Sir, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, okay. So I asked for a manager. She's like, I am a manager. I'm like, okay, well, I need my refund because this is what the conductor told me to ask for when I came back. Sir, good day. She pushes the paper towards me. Like, she's so rude. I don't know how she has her job, but she should not be working for Amtrak. And Amtrak, if you see this video, contact me. I'll tell you exactly what happened. And in the meantime, another lady comes over, a little older, and she's like, hey, I can help you down at this window. So I go down to this window, and she's like, what are you trying to do? I'm like, well, I'm trying to get a refund for my Amtrak tickets because I purchased through New Jersey Transit. And she's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can just refund those to you. And I'm like, that's all I was asking for. And she's like, well, some people, sometimes are new. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's fair. So needless to say, I got my refund for the 2 Amtrak tickets. So the lesson learned here is purchase New Jersey Transit if you want to go from the 30th Street station to Atlantic City. It's a simple thing to do. Just download the app. All right. So got back to my hostel, went back to sleep. Woke up the next day. So I was going to do a little Philadelphia exploring, right? So the first place I wanted to check out was the Masonomic Museum. So this was built by handled and built by the Freemasons. It is for membership into the Masons. It is across from a giant courtyard that has like game pieces, like a sorry piece, a checker piece, a chess piece, dominoes. It's pretty cool. Don't miss it. It's amazing. This museum, I found online because I thought would be really neat because it has about 7 to 10 different rooms that are just designed specifically for that room, and they're their own theme essentially. So you have one room that's Egyptian, right? You walk in and you see Ra, and you see the all-seeing eye, and you see all these different things that hieroglyphics and anything you can think of that's Egyptian is in this room, and it's beautiful. There's some photos that you'll see here in a minute if you're not seeing them already going by. And they have another themed room with Greece and some astronomy stuff, and it's just beautiful. They have like circles that represent each state around the outside. So the tour is usually $15, And if you get a chance, you should definitely check it out. It's pretty cool. Also, what's really neat about this place is this is a place to have a wedding. You can rent this building or these rooms with the ballroom and a caterer to have a wedding. And it's incredible. Like, you already have all the decor you could possibly want that's going to give you the most amazing pictures you could ever achieve. So definitely check it out. So then I decided to go check out the Liberty Bell. I lived in Philadelphia for about a year and a half. For God's sakes, the food is just incredible, right? Wawa, the food, that's what they're known for. The Liberty Bell, it's all part of it. I never went and saw the Liberty Bell, so I decided to do it this time. There was a little bit of a line. I don't know, I think I waited 7 to 12 minutes, something like that. I had a backpack, so you do have to go through like a security that's kind of an airport type of security. And so you want to make sure you put everything in either your jacket or your backpack or whatever, so you can kind of just push that bag through and you're in and on your way. Liberty Bell is pretty easy to get to. You just there's like a little history center before that. There's a couple security guards. You just walk right in, and there it is. There she is in all her glory. You can take as many photos as you want in front of like a glass panel. It's pretty amazing to have that's still around, you know, and be able to go in and look at it. It is part of our history, and it's an incredible part of our history. So you'll see some photos that I took of it also coming up. Now, if you've stayed with me this long, just so you know, the good stuff is still to come. Okay, so I really appreciate you staying with me so far. My stories get more interesting by the minute, by the way. And I've experienced some pretty crazy stuff. And I'm always open to people sending me comments so that I can go ahead and answer those comments in my next video. That'll be kind of a thing that we're going to do. Anyway, thanks for staying with me this long. Let's move on a little bit. So we got to go back to Cleveland, right? Flight's supposed to be at 5 o'clock. Show up at the Philadelphia airport, which I'm going to be completely honest. The Philadelphia airport is so trashed. It's so dirty. Terminals E and F are literally like there's stuff all over the floor. There's food all over the floor. Get ready for this. I went to the men's restroom to wash my hands, and there's a pair of blue underwear just sitting on the floor in one of the stalls. Just random pair of blue underwear, just like it's okay. I notified an employee, and just for fun, I wanted to see how long it would take for them to pick up the blue underwear. So I waited a little while. Come to have it, my flight was canceled. So we were supposed to board somewhere around 5. At 4:30, the lady gets on the PA and she's like, well, ladies and gentlemen, flight number 3174 to Cleveland is canceled. If you need assistance, you can go to gate E9. So, all right. So we're like, okay, well, I just started laughing because it's Frontier. I mean, you get what you pay for, and you kind of feel, well, if you don't know when you purchase a Frontier ticket that there is a possibility your flight is being canceled, I don't know what to tell you. That's where we're going to start with. That's the main tip of this video now. If you fly Frontier, your flight will likely be canceled. It's about a 60% chance. So anyway, it's what you get with the territory, right? Flight was canceled. I went over to 9. Of course, there's this one lady who's like screaming and shouting. And there's a nice little sign on the counter that says, disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. So I'm sitting here listening to this lady. She's saying every word in the book, right? She is literally livid. She's on her phone. She's like losing her mind. And so I'm talking to the gate agent, trying to figure out a way to get me to Cleveland before work. And there's no way to do it. Like, I checked train, I checked bus, I checked trying to fly to Orlando, trying to fly back to Cleveland, trying to fly to DC, trying to take a train to New York, so finally I come up with an idea of let's fly to Las Vegas, sit on the ground 2 hours, and fly to Cleveland, getting in at 5 a.m. in the morning. Seemed like a great idea to me. However, more happened. So anyway, I booked that flight, right? She books me on that flight. She tells me, well, I can't book you from Las Vegas to Cleveland, but I can go ahead and change your flight from Philly to Las Vegas. And I'm like, how do I get to Cleveland then? She's like, well, you have to book that yourself. Well, with the pass, I can do that, right? It's $15. Whoopie-doo. So I did that. While watching what was the chaos that was unfolding over here at the table with, or the stand with the gate agent. This one guy comes up. He obviously is clearly upset. I later talked to him, so we'll talk about that later in another video, but he's clearly upset. He's like smiling, but he's upset because he actually had been there for 2 days. So then the other lady comes up and she's like screaming and yelling still, and whatever happened, she takes off her shoe, her her sandal / flip-flop, whatever you want to call it, slams it on the counter and says, I'm so effing blah, 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 I'm leaving my shoe. Slams it on the counter and walks away. So the lady decided to protest by leaving her shoe. Yeah, I don't know. I just see this stuff and don't make this stuff up. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, she leaves her shoe and walks off. So I'm still trying to figure out, I'm going to Vegas. So I'm looking at the flight. The flight's delayed 30 minutes now. Okay. I only had a 2-hour window to be able to make it to Vegas. Now it's delayed an hour. Now it's delayed an hour and a half. I check back to see if the blue underwear is still there. Yep. They've been there for 3 hours. No one wanted to pick up the blue underwear. There's tons of food all over the floor. There's no one cleaning. The trash bins are overflowing. Man, Philadelphia airport needs help. I go to the Chick Pete's restaurant inside the terminal. The host is amazing. She's like, yeah, you can come in. I'm like, I'll try the original Philly cheesesteak. She's like, do you want the crab fries? I'm like, I don't really like crab. She's like, there's no seafood in them. They're just sprinkled with Cajun seasoning. I'm like, okay. She's like, they're really good. I'm like, okay, go ahead and give them to me. So I got the crab fries. Well, I didn't like the crab fries. I had 2, and I was like, these are not what I want. They're not good at all. I didn't like them at all. And I made it clear to the waitress, who was also that host, that I didn't like those crab fries. Did she take them off my bill? No. I had 4, maybe. It was just not for me. The Philly was all right. It wasn't terrible. But the fact that I made it very clear that I didn't like the crab fries and she kind of pushed them on me in the first place would make me not go back to that restaurant, right? It's just a little crazy. It only takes one thing. In the world of reviews, in the world of, restaurants and customer service and things like that, it only takes one thing for someone to be like, nope, not doing that again, right? So that's the restaurant that was in there. My flight got delayed another 30 minutes, and I'm like, well, crap. I'm not going to make my connection. I don't want to be stuck in Vegas. I need to be closer to Ohio to get my car to go back to work. So I'm looking for a gate agent now, right? I'm looking for the one that closed the Cleveland flight. I'm looking for supervisor, whatever it may be. I'm roaming around, and I meet this other family, and this family's like, yeah, so we were also on the Cleveland flight. We got put on tomorrow's flight. But now, and they have a son. It's a father, mother, and son, and he's 20 years old. So, an adult. And they're waiting for their hotel voucher. They've been waiting for, an hour and a half, basically. And so I'm like, well, shoot, I need a hotel voucher now too, which is what we had discussed originally, me and the gate agent. And I need to be put back on that other flight. Well, no one was around, so I went ahead and rebooked myself back on that other flight using my pass. I just figured, well, Frontier will go ahead and credit everything, I'm sure, because this was all part of the canceled flight for no reason. And so finally they get their hotel voucher, and they ask me what I'm going to do. And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, are you just going to roam around trying to find something? I was like, yeah, it's my only option I have. So sure enough, I just walked the Frontier terminal for I think it was probably an hour. I kept going up to each gate agent, telling them, hey, I'd like to speak to a supervisor. Maybe someone can help me with this. They'd always tell me they were boarding a flight. So finally, I just did this. I waited for one of the gate agents to almost finish boarding the flight. And I just went up to the counter and I did this. And I know that was uncomfortable, right? I just kept doing it until I got noticed that, hey, I need some help, right? So it was about an hour and 15 minutes. I was directed over to someone who was a supervisor. Went up to her. She's like, hey, are you the guy that tried to change your flight? We were going to do a hotel for you, but unfortunately, you know, you had changed your flight. And I'm like, yeah, but now I'm going to misconnect. And she's like, okay, I'll take care of it for you. She puts in an email. She takes all my itinerary numbers. She's like, they're all canceled. All good to go. I've got you on the Cleveland flight tomorrow. I got you a seat. You're good to go. All right, cool. Now I got a hotel, right? Yeah. All right. So I get my hotel email. It's for the Clarion. It says it's in Essington, Pennsylvania. Okay. It's 2.5 miles away from the airport. 2.5 miles away from the airport. So I go out to get the shuttle, right? There's a couple people waiting. I make a phone call. Get a lady on the phone. Just a little bit of an accent. Like kind of a Caribbean accent, essentially. And she's like, can you please hold? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'm holding. 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. 15 minutes go by. I'm like, oh, this is a really long hold. 18 minutes go by. 21 minutes. Hey, sir, are you still there? Yeah. You put me on hold for 20 minutes. Yeah. No apology. No, I'm sorry. Nothing. She didn't care. Not at all. I'm like, great. This is the experience I'm going to have with the Clarion. This is going to be fantastic. So, and I know, I sound like I demand a lot. I don't really. But, you know, I do feel like everyone should provide customer service. If you're in hospitality, if you don't know how to provide customer service, get the hell out of it, because that's not a position for you. So anyway, I ask her where the shuttle's going to be. She says, I say, there's been other people here that have been waiting too. Almost 30 minutes. Okay. So they've been waiting 30 minutes, right? And I'm like, do you know where the shuttle is? Because you're 2.5 miles away. And she's like, I don't know. I need to call the driver. I'm like, okay. So, and then I say, can I have your name? She's like, no, you're good. We'll call the driver. And hangs up on me. Fantastic, right? She didn't think I was going to figure out who she was when I got to the hotel with her accent. Like, come on. So anyway, got in my shuttle, got to the hotel, and clearly I figured out very quickly, this is basically just a parking operation. There's a hotel, but it's basically just a parking operation. When you walk in, the front desk, which is supposed to be right here, is nothing. It's being remodeled, maybe, but it's literally gone. So in your like hallway lobby, there's a makeshift front desk. Kid you not. And so I walk up and I'm like, okay, checking in. I give her the code. We're good. I get checked in. I notice that the person who put me on hold for 20 minutes is over to my right. And I'm like, well, that's good. So I get checked in. I go to my room. Room's great. No issues with the room. One little tip that's really important when you travel is to always check your beds for bed bugs. It's just super important, especially in America and anywhere on the East Coast for sure. They're very prevalent. So the way that you want to do that is pull up your sheets on the end of the bed and look for little black specks. If you see any black specks, keep looking, because they usually hide in like the crevices of the mattress itself. So it's really important to look for those. And usually if you go from dark to light, you can also see them scurry. So just make sure you check your beds for bed bugs, right? So I always do that when I walk in a hotel. That's always the first thing I do. So I went ahead and checked. There were some hairs on the mattress, but unfortunately, but no bugs. So it was good. So I just put the stuff back on and went on my business, right? I looked out my window. I saw this giant like brown bridge and I was like, well, I need food. There is a restaurant, but I wanted to see what else was available in this town. So I start going for a walk. Well, I look up the area that I'm in and check the crime rate because it seems a little sketch. And it tells me it's 94% higher than anywhere else in Pennsylvania. I'm like, that's good. That's good. All right, we'll just keep walking forward then. So I kept walking. There's literally nothing in this town. The name of the town is actually Tennycombe. And I was trying to take a photo, little small video of the park across the street while I was walking. And two teenage boys roll up. Kid you not here. You ever seen The Shining? Two teenage boys pull up on their bikes, and they're like, "Sir, no photos. You can't take photos in this town." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "No photos. You can't take photos. It's not allowed." And they just keep riding off. So either I imagined them from the fact that I went to the Shawshank Redemption jail and, you know, they're a ghost, or I'm a ghost. I'm not really sure anymore. Because what I didn't tell you is when I was at the Ohio Reformatory, I went into the solitary confinement area. And as I walked in there, I heard noises. And then I turned around and went back the other way and went back again. I heard some more noises and I was like, oh, nope, I'm out. So I left real quick. There's a lot more content to the Shawshank Redemption area too. I mean, they have a hospital that has paranormal signs all over the place that says it's haunted. You know, there's the reception area. I mean, it's basically a haunted mansion meets Alcatraz. So if you want something like that, definitely go check it out. Sorry for backtracking a little bit there. Just kind of brought up that concept. So I just kept walking through Tennycombe, right? It's a complete dump. It's absolutely a dump town. They have a Wawa and they have a McKellen's Pub, which is probably where I should have tried to get some food, but I didn't. So anyway, I got all the way to the end, and it took me a little while there, and it just looked a little bit too sketchy. So I took an Uber back. The Uber driver tells me on the way, he's like, well, you could have went the other way, but it's kind of a gamble. And this town really isn't for anything other than airport parking and people who don't catch their flights due to cancellations. Because it's so cheap. So do not recommend going to Tennycombe. Don't recommend. Completely don't recommend. It's a weird town. We'll just put it that way. All right, so got back to my hotel, went to sleep, went to go catch my flight the next morning. I actually did have an appetizer in the restaurant of the Clarion. Actually, the restaurant's pretty great. Service is pretty great. No issues there. Quesadilla was pretty good. Average bar food, right? Got on my shuttle in the morning. The breakfast people weren't available, so I went to try to go get breakfast. There were no breakfast people available. Got back to Philadelphia Airport and found the couple that got put in the Wyndham yesterday. So start talking to them, right? And they tell me that at their hotel they were having a convention for a cult. Yeah, I didn't stutter. They were having a convention for a cult in Tennycombe at the Wyndham. So they were a little freaked out. And apparently their bathtub also was like not draining. So like it was filling all the way up and almost going over the side onto the bathroom because the drain didn't work, and a lot of other issues they had in their room too. So I don't know if I'd recommend the Wyndham either. I didn't stay there. That's kind of hearsay, but we looked it up and they definitely were having a cult convention. So a lot of people that I've talked to about this believe that the town might actually be a cult by itself. Who knows? Who am I to say, right? I just see the stuff and document it. So also when I went back to Philadelphia, I met up with this other guy who also has the Go Wild pass. He was trying to get to Raleigh. He had just come from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, and he had to go from Aguadilla to San Juan to fly out because he couldn't fly out of Aguadilla. What we're finding with this pass is we're not able to book returns very easily. We're not able to you can book to go somewhere, but getting back, not so much. So it seems to be an issue with the Go Wild pass. So he had to essentially take an Uber ride from Aguadilla to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And then he was in Philadelphia. He was trying to go to Raleigh for, he said his graduation. He told me that the Charlotte flight, or the Raleigh flight yesterday had been canceled. And then they tried to put him on Charlotte that morning of the Cleveland flight. That was canceled. And then they put him on the Cleveland flight, the Philly to Cleveland flight I was on, which we know that was canceled. So he had been in the airport for 2 days straight. Had not been put in a hotel. He didn't know to ask for it. He didn't know what to do. And, you know, I talked to him, pretty cool guy. And he's just been flying all over. He's from Salt Lake City, and he, you know, has just been everywhere, which is fantastic. I guess he can work remote, which unfortunately I can't. I wish I could. But so, you know, I'm meeting all these different people in the airport and kind of seeing these experiences and these things are happening. And there's definitely some struggles with this pass, but everyone kind of knew. I would think most people would suspect that when they purchased it, that it's not going to be like rainbows and unicorns, which, I mean, who wouldn't want it to be rainbows and unicorns? But it's not. So here's the thing. I thought all of this fun, exciting, travel issue experience was done. Well, wait for it. There's more. So I was in 2A, right, on my flight back to Cleveland, and the first flight attendant, right, the one in the front. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret, because I have some history in the industry. Flight attendants typically don't tell on each other. Also, the airlines sometimes turn a blind eye to flight attendants, let's say, borrowing alcohol and food from the carts, right? So I don't know what Frontier's policy is on this for flight attendants, and I, don't really know if it's a concern, but the first flight attendant, the entire flight, just sat there and watched his tablet, and at about 11 minutes and 48 seconds, 11:48 a.m., he decided to help himself to a Frontier snack box. Just pulled it out, opened it, and just started eating it like it was normal. And then he helped himself to a ginger ale. So I know with my past that wasn't okay on the airline that I might have worked for. However, again, things happen all the time. But my biggest issue here is that I wanted water, right? I didn't want to disturb anyone or ask a flight attendant for it, but I wanted them to come by and ask me if I wanted it, because that's typically the policy with Frontier. This guy did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Washed his tablet, ate his Frontier box, and drank his ginger ale in front of us, right? He didn't do a trash run. He didn't do anything. One of the other flight attendants did one trash run from the entire flight from Philadelphia to Cleveland, right? So, and there wasn't like major turbulence. There was no reason for this. So that was just something I kind of identified also, and I'm sure if you're watching this and you travel, you've probably seen it too. But I got back to Cleveland. I drove back to where I live, and I'm ready for my next adventure. So, you ready to find out where I'm going next time? I'm going to BWI. I'm going to fly from Cincinnati to BWI because Cincinnati is the only place I can fly from. And so I got to drive to Cincinnati. And then I'm going to take a train from BWI to Washington, D.C. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to have another meal at Hell's Kitchen in D.C. this time. And I'm also going to check out the Washington Monument and a couple other things. And if you guys know anything else that I should check out, throw it in the comments. We'll add it to my list. After D.C., I've got Vegas planned. And after that, who knows? We'll figure it out. I know Austin is one of the places I want to visit. Boston, I lived there for a little bit. I love that place also. And then, probably Seattle, a couple other places, right? We want to go international at some point. But for now, thanks for watching Dangoeswild episode 1. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments.